down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Because you are successful because you're here.
Yes.
Put your hands together for yourself because you made it. All right, anything excited? Anything exciting? Any deals? No? No deals? We do have a deal.
Archie's got a deal.
Archie, you want to talk about it or you want me to do it for you?
Sure, I'll talk about it.
Okay, my man Archie, come stand up, homie. He's got this deal right here. Tell me about it.
All right, so we got this house in Midwest City. It's a rental play. We actually just had a bid on one in that same neighborhood that was renting for $800, but it needs about $10K in rehab. It's vacant right now. We're doing a showing at 4:30 today, so if you have any more questions, just feel free to ask me.
Okay, we have a bunch of flyers.
It's
55. What's your question?
Price is square footage.
the price is 55 square footage. I'm not sure.
I think it's around 1050.
Okay.
3 bed, 1.5 bath, 2 cars.
So,
or 2 car garage.
$850 a month, as Robert Elder would say. Can you make money with that? What time's your showing?
We have a showing scheduled for 4:30 today.
4:30 today. Lyle and Archie over there.
And what's the address?
Wow. 1517
1517 Maydale Avenue.
Marydale?
Marydale.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we do this the third Wednesday of every month. We got this thing coming up. Some people have already changed their life. We did this event, a retreat not too long ago, where we put this dude on the center and we just helped him for about 30 minutes. Changed his life, blew up his business about 30%. We're doing it again in Baltimore, Washington on September 15th. If you want to go to the next level, if you're struggling in anything, you need help, first time you're running a business, whatever, Boardroom Brawler. Text, this is the slowest screen thing. Text landlord to 5454. Everybody's on that. We do these random things called pop-up social. It's not everywhere. Tomorrow's our first pop-up social for the summer. There's a flyer. It's snow cone social. Meet investors, landlords, lenders. There are people bringing their kids. That's cool. And contractors. So people complain, I don't know where to get this. I don't know how to do that. Someone's going to be there. If it rains, we're going to have it inside. If it's nice outside, we'll have it outside. We're going to have inside and outside. There'll be a bunch of stuff. You need to come check that out. That is at 6 o'clock. It's free. Sponsored by Oklahoma Discount Flooring. We have office space here. If you need some. Big spaces. $150 for a desk. $350 for a single office. $500 for a great space with 2 offices in it. Okay. Does anybody not like negotiating? You don't like it? That's normal. I'm not a wholesaler for that specific reason. There's nothing to be ashamed with that. Anybody else not like negotiating? Okay, cool. Well, here's the thing. You're going to negotiate all the time. Okay? So you just have to embrace it. The one thing, anybody ever been in sales? Okay? Now, I used to be like anti-salesperson, shy, recluse. I know it doesn't look like that. This is 40 years of dying on the cross. But here's the deal. I realize that sales makes money. Nothing happens unless a sale is made. So when I realized one day that everything revolves around sales, you think about it, I had to sell my wife to fall in love with me. I had to sell the banker to loan me money. I had to sell the person selling the property to me why I'm the best price for her. Okay? Everybody got that little quick message? That's sales, right? So are you selling? All the time. You're doing the same thing with negotiating. The people that raise your hand, I hope by the end of this time that you can put your hand back down and say, I can negotiate. John F. Kennedy says, let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate. Okay, that's one of the most important things. I think I've probably lost, I can't even give a real number. Probably, I always get frustrated with wholesalers. They're great people. They make a lot of money, and they're getting a lot of deals, and I'm not. I may be making a lot of money, but I'm not getting deals. Why? They're a better negotiator than I am. People think that I'm a gangster negotiator. I don't think so. I think people that can make lowball offers, and we would define lowball at the end for a bonus, right?
With a straight face. Yeah.
Okay, we were, before you got here, if you get here a little bit earlier time, we always cover something else. We cover low ball offers. It was very interesting. Okay? Like it or not, we already talked about it. Every day I use a technique. I'm going to go over about 5 techniques, and I got a whole bunch of material, and I'll be sensitive to your time. We're going to be 1 hour on the dot. If you want to raise your hand and ask a question, that's cool. It's fine with me. We were recording this. I'll put it on the podcast tomorrow. Any questions so far? Anybody still scared? All right. When I'm nervous about negotiating, these are the things I think about. Negotiating makes money. I'm telling you, I called my mentor. I was buying this property. It was worth $700,000. It was listed for $825,000. I was nervous. I was happy at $750,000. $750,000. I was like, bam! If I buy this for $750,000, it's worth $1 million. I'm making $25,000. I'm happy, right? Called my mentor. No, offer this. Sure enough, that one phone call, I did exactly what he told me to do, and I got it off. I got it for $705,000. I made. And actually, I got it down to $725,000. So I made $25,000 by negotiating. Negotiating solves problems. Did I do my math right?
$250,000.
No, $750,000 house.
What are you saying? It's worth $1 million?
It was worth $1 million.
Then yeah. Well,
But
yeah,
I made
guess you
$25,000 because I was
negotiate.
willing to pay $750,000
Oh, yeah.
because it's worth $1 million. So I was buying at 75% ARV. But my homie was like, offer this. I offered $700,000. They came back at $725,000 at the near the end of the negotiating. So negotiating solves problems too, right? What are in the sales is what? Everywhere. But sales does what's the ultimate thing about sales? Solves problems. You have a problem. You trying to sell me your career. I got a problem. I need to make more money. We're solving problems. It's rewarding when you. I don't know if you follow me on Facebook, on the podcast, and I'm serious. Even this Sunday, I was at the flea market. This Sunday, last Sunday, on Father's Day. I'm the only one out there. It's all right. I was the only one out there. My kids weren't there. It's all right. I was by myself. I felt kind of lonely out there, and no one was around. And I found out there was a World Cup, and a lot of people were at the World Cup. But I was there. I was like, why am I here? I'm here to negotiate, to practice my skill, and even my whatever you think I am, I'm nobody. But I found this $4 item that had said I knew it was worth $4 because it was 4 little things you throw in a pool, and they're like little rings, and it had a price tag of $3 on it. So I was like, then it's at the worst time when someone's sitting down eating their meal, and it was lunchtime, and I was like, VanCauwenbergh, nope, you gotta go strong. So I'm walking, I pick the item up, and I go like this, and I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to interrupt him. If I interrupt him, I'm gonna close it off. They're chewing, they don't want to respond. So of course I always grab my wallet as I'm making an offer. Would you take $200 for it? Boom. So got it for $200. For $2. $2. That's $200. Yeah, of course there's over $200. All right. So pretty basic skill. Man, I'm tired. I'm so hot. I gotta take my shoes off. All right. First of all, to win in negotiations, to be the best, is that you have to know everything about who you're dealing with. I wouldn't call them an opponent. The minute you call them an opponent, your mind changes. But when I'm negotiating, I want to know everything about him. I want to know why my man puts his hair up in a bun like that. I want to know why. Is he cool? Is he millennial? What is a millennial? I don't even know what they mean. Is he a hipster? What's a hipster? Is he a rockabilly? I want to know everything I can. These are the main skills. These 6 skills or 5 skills right here, you master these, you'll make way more money. I'm going to cover DISC. Know all you can. You got to be Dick Tracy. You got to be patient. You got to have an attitude. You got to be calm. And you got to listen well. A lot of entrepreneurs have a problem not listening. Is everybody familiar with the DISC profile? Everybody know about this? You want me to cover this? You want to move on? Okay.
Never heard of it.
All right. Well, everybody has a personality. You're born with personality. Okay, this is not rock science. This is just call it whatever you want to call it. But like, what's my personality up there?
Dominant.
Hey, amen. What's yours? Sad?
No.
Oh. Oh, they don't have that one up there.
People.
So are you
Influence.
even-tempered, accommodating, patient, humble, tactful?
Most of the time.
Most of the time? Okay. Or are you outgoing? Do you change your clothes, your Facebook page, profile often? You go buy new clothes every other week?
No.
Okay. Within 10 seconds, I can figure out who you are. The way you look, the way you talk, everything you say. If I'm trying to buy a house from a dominant person, we're going to close tomorrow quickly with cash. I got proof. Here's my credibility. If I'm going to buy a house from an outgoing person, I'm not going to say the word cash. I'm going to say, if you sell this house, it's for my retirement. It's going to make you look good. My kids are going to love you if you sell me this house. If I'm talking to an S personality, sell me this house. We can make this transaction together. We can be helpful. We can work together. If it's a C, we're going to close on this day. These are the details and why. Everybody has a little of this personality in there. Does anybody want to say which one they are? How many D's we have in here? Any D's? I's? All?
A little bit.
You're an I? You're a performer? You perform?
SC, but I've got some I.
Okay. D is an entrepreneur. I is an outgoing. They change their Facebook all the time. They're more on Facebook. S is a support team. People that serve. Analytical. C, detail. People that are accountants, count numbers, bean counters. Okay. So to have a successful organization, say you have a wholesale business. Okay. Who's the acquisition manager? Lie. I own a wholesale company. Who am I going to send out there? D, I, S, or C?
Probably influence. So
I. But who's going to close the deal? I won't make an offer because they're nervous. You can't say the word failure to an I. You make an offer, you got to have some You got to have some
Boldness.
boldness. That's it. Thank you for saving me. I got to watch my tone, man. Some things I say, I don't even know why I'm saying them. BALLS. You got to have them. Or kahunas. Do you send a C out there? Maybe. Right? Now, if you want to sell a property, who do you want to use? Alan.
Is
Nope.
D.
I. You need an I. You need a marketer.
Outgoing person.
Calling people. Hey, they're calling people just to tell people what's going on. Okay? Now, when you learn these skills, and just Google this up, DISC, you should be writing notes out. DISC profile, and watch as many videos as you can. You should know who your wife is. Because I learned real fast my wife is a super duper I. If I said the word failure to my wife, she would crush her. Right? My wife says failure to me, I don't give a rip. That's feedback. Because I'm a D. So we have a good marriage because I know how to talk to her. Now, when I first got married, it was like the Roaring Rapids. Didn't figure that deal out for about 3 years. Right? Okay? I'm like, girl, you need to come help me with my real estate business. She's like, what? You know, all right.
If I might, just Google Tony Robbins and DISC. It's a free one you can do. Give you some more details on your own. And
speaking of free, there's another one called 16personalities.com. It's a newer one. Thanks for helping. Good job. You get a prize. We got prizes over here. Okay.
sweet.
All right, here's some things. Negotiating, can't negotiate with yourself. I guess you can if you got bipolar or a different personality. When negotiating, you got to have a goal. What's your goal? You're trying to buy houses, right? So we're constantly negotiating, or your salary or pay. You got to expect an outcome. Is this a resolution or is this a consensus? When we're buying a crib from somebody, what is it? Well, it's a resolution, and we're agreeing on a price. Right? Consensus. We agree. But we're really solving a problem. Ray, you all right?
Mm-hmm.
You with me?
I am.
Okay. I thought you were going to fall over on me. All right. Are we ready? Any questions? Any comments? That's my favorite technique. The push and pull method. Does anybody know about push and pull method? Not from the podcast. Nobody? Okay. This is a dating technique. that I've just intertwined in my real estate negotiation processes. For real. I do this every day. The push and pull method is you give somebody some attention and they want to reciprocate, but I block them. And then what happens when I do that? They chase me,
Pursue. Yeah.
right? Give them a little love, then you back off. Just try this with your wife. It works. Or if you got somebody else you're hanging out with, whatever. I got to be socially somebody, or your husband, or somebody that's somebody. That's not one of those things, right? So anybody else have another example of a push and pull method? Has anybody ever used a push and pull method? You do this every day. You just don't know. This is the number one technique that I use. So for example, a wholesaler sends me a deal. I act like I'm interested, and then I act like I'm not interested. I act like I want some details. I act like I don't want some details. I create a frenzy until I get them to a boiling point where price is not even an issue. They just want to get rid of the property. That's one way I do it. Does that make sense? No? Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Justify. This is how I lock up all my deals right here. This is the secret sauce. Bang, bang. That's why I got to get the bang, bang on there. Bang, bang. This is the secret sauce. This is how it closes all of them. I lock them all up. I always, if it's a low ball offer, or if it's because we don't know who could justify a low ball offer, right? Someone said it's half price, or another wise man said, Lyle said earlier, missed it, said you have to make an offer where it almost makes you hurt yourself, right?
Well, what I was saying is that if you're not offended by your first offer, it's too high.
Okay. So what I do is whatever reduction that I have, I justify with substance. I don't just say, hey, it needs a roof. That's why it's $10,000 off the price. What do? I go get a roof bid. Or I use a roof bid. Okay? I just outline and justify the main reason why I'm offering you $50,000, and you think that your house is $100,000. It's $100,000 in your mind, and I want to give you the $100,000. Absolutely. I was showing someone, I was negotiating a deal yesterday, and I said, I'll give you your price, your terms, and everything, but minus these things, and this is why. So in their mind, I got them to say yes, and then I justified my position by substance. I proved to them why you should be lowering the price for me. Most people just say, close fast, close quick, right? That kind of works, but really people want to be justified. Most people have to justify to somebody else, correct? Mm-hmm. Most people that sell property are not by themselves. They're either representing an estate, if it's a probate, or they have a significant other. So what usually happens? Hey, I got to talk to my, what?
Higher authority.
Right. Higher authority. Jesus. Man. You got to pray more, homie.
I do.
Well, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
Why not package it up with them with a bow, and then they can pass it on to their significant other. This is the same problem. I've locked up more deals with rookie realtors with the same process that I use. Has anybody ever said, I can't turn that offer? Anybody ever had that said to them before? Mm-hmm. Well, remember I made 25,000 or 20 G's off that one? That's the same thing that realtor said to me. I can't put that offer in. He said the exact same thing to me. And I said, hey bro, say these things. I wrote it all out for him in an email, bullet points, screenshots. There you go. Any questions on this one?
So
yes, dear.
How'd you justify by screenshots?
Imagery of new roofs, cost,
what else?
stats, data, CMAs, comps, location, Zillow. Sometimes Zillow has real low prices on there.
Yeah.
Guess what screenshot I'm going to take? Zillow.
Zillow.
Yeah. Whatever's going to win, right? Whatever it takes. Any other questions? All right. Meet me halfway. What do you think of this one? It's old school, right? People don't like it.
Every single time.
Every single time. This guy does like 200 transactions a year or more. How many transactions do you do in your office? 300?
We're probably getting close to 100 since we've been.
Oh, just 100? Oh, you slow. I was just playing.
Trying to catch up to you.
No, 100 transactions. He just said, meet me halfway. This works.
Yeah. Almost every single time.
Every
They
time.
have a price, I make an offer,
You
they
owe-
counter, and then
Okay.
try to meet him in the middle.
He's thinking of Bon Jovi as he's pulling.
This better be your wife.
Living on the front.
Taking notes? Okay. You up front. All right. Now, here's the rule number one in negotiating that I always do. Anytime someone negotiates with you, you always have to reciprocate, no matter, even if we're agreeing. So get that real basic simple. So we're going, I want it for 50, and you want it for 60, and then you come back, I'm like, well, I'll give you this, and you say 50, and I'm on my number, you still have to negotiate back with something else. Either time, terms, position, earnest money. You should always go back with something else. That's another little rule. Everybody understand that? Did I say it too fast?
What's the position?
Say it again.
So if we're negotiating and I want this number and we agreed to that number. We agreed to that number. Right? So he doesn't know, okay, let's just do a basic. It's $100,000. I want it for 50. We're back and forth. We're doing all the techniques. Push and pull method. Dude calls me back. Blah, 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 blah. I want it for 50. Okay? We finally get to 50 somewhere. He throws it down like I'm leading him. I'm like 45. And he says 50. And that's the number I want. But he said 50, so what position is he in? He just led with that position, right? Yeah. I'm going to come back with throw in the TV. He can always say no. Okay, I don't know if this is a little advanced, but does that make sense? You always want to come back. So meet me in the halfway is similar too. So you could, how do you do it, Lyle? Let's not just be VanCauwenbergh show.
I mean, just as a very basic example without numbers, typically when you're trying to buy a house from somebody, they have an asking price. I know what I need to pay for it. I'm going to offer below that so I have room to negotiate. Hopefully they counter me. And then if their counter is where I need it to be to meet in the middle, somewhere around where I wanted to buy it, then I'm almost always going to jump straight to just meet me in the middle. Let's get it done.
Okay, so rule number one, he always offers lower than what he wants. So I mean, it's the cardinal sin is this: if you want it for 50, don't offer 50.
With 50.
Because guess what? What I just told you just 2 seconds before that, you should always offer and always ask for something else. So no matter what you ask me, I'm always going to ask you for something else. And that person, if he's a skilled negotiator, they're going to ask for something else. So you have to outwit that person. Is that we follow me on that one? So like his typical thing is like he wants 50, he's going to offer 45 or 47. Now this is where in meet me halfway goes. So there's some super negotiators I hang out with, and they just gangster. They do stuff like this. Like they want to go 50, and me, I'll just lay down because I got the 50, but 45 is on the table. And then they say, let's go halfway. They get it for 47.5, even though they'll be happy at 50. Okay? That's another technique. You got to play in this game where you're offering and receiving and offering and receiving. The first thing I told you, it's patience and time. If you offer me full asking price on any of my properties, I always think something's wrong. You can't close. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. You didn't do an inspection. You didn't show up at the crib. You don't know what you're doing. Okay? So it's old school. Most people that are an investor, not residential, this is my first home and I never want to sell it type of person. That's a totally different class. But for basic negotiations with other real estate investors and people in general, they always list their price high. Have you ever bought a house straight up what the cost is? Well, the market's a little bit different now.
Right.
Well, that's not a good answer. All right, a good question. We're going down the wrong rabbit hole. Okay. Now, most things that you read on negotiations, they say, is that the best you could do? Who likes that? No.
No.
Nope.
What?
hmm
Yep.
That's the worst one. That's the worst one.
It's a slap
Maybe
in the face.
it's offensive to me. Remember, I'm psycho. I go to the flea market every weekend. They should have never let me on the internet. There's this new thing. Have you heard about? It's called Facebook Marketplace.
Yes.
It's even better.
That's
That's where I practice all day, every day.
where it works.
All day, every dude. I got like 5 negotiations going on right now for stuff I don't even want, and I probably never even buy. Cars. For real. You think I'm playing? I am not playing. I'm negotiating on cars I'm never going to own. I'm just going to see how far I can go.
Want to sell a piano? Okay.
I'm crazy. You should be crazy. If you want to be wealthy, you want to be rich, you should probably do stuff that no one else does. Okay? Now, here's the deal. The slap in the face. I'm telling you, have you considered? I don't know where this came from. This came from me maybe. I don't know. But I've been practicing this for a long time. I used to get slapped in the face on Facebook when it started out. They'll just throw numbers out. Don't even engage. Or they say, is that the best you could do? Wait, hold on. I'm the one that's listed the item, homie. Yeah, that's the best I could do. Now, of course, I got about 100 responses when people ask me that. I say, I just listed it. Or I say, someone's already texted me. Thank you. Right? I create a sense of
Urgency.
And what else do I do? The very first method?
Dominance.
Nope.
Push and pull.
Push and pull.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Push and pull. You should just get on Craigslist, Facebook, and just practice the push and pull method, and just see how. Like I just helped this dude out. House was 35,000. We got it down to 22, just by the push and pull method. It's fun. But my favorite. I keep saying favorite. I don't know what I'm saying, but have you considered? Is this by far? I close them all, and I do this all the time. So. How much you want for this book?
$30.
30. See, 30. So, 30. Would you consider 22.5?
You just pulled out an empty pocket, so.
22.5?
I'm gonna say
See, is it? Have you considered? And I did also. I would pull out my wallet when I'm talking to him subconsciously.
What if his number was 20 though?
Well, then I would say 13.5. Here's another rule too. I don't know. You lost me because you in the
But
back.
if he came back with an amount and said,
Oh, he-
20.
No. Oh. Okay. Oh, after. My first line was, "Have you considered?" And he negotiated with me. Then I would do the push. I'd walk away. Before, I always had a number in my mind, and that's the number I'm going to stay with. If you go to an auction, you'll get destroyed. You will get crushed at an auction. I'm telling you, you should go to auctions for fun. I used to do that too. But so you're saying, I said, hey, how much you want for the book? He said 30, and then I said, would you consider 25? Right? And then he said 26 or 22, and he said 25. What would I say after that? How'd you come up with that? I would pose a question. Then I would do the substance. I'd get on the internet, sir, you see this on 8 books? It's only worth $1. I'll double your money. I'll give you $2. Do you want to negotiate with me? Right? So you just use the proof, the substance. But you gotta make people feel comfortable. You gotta love on people. First of all, you should just start loving on people. Because if you're just genuine and authentic, they have a need, right? And I want to solve that need. And I have a need, and I want to solve my need. But the softest blow is, have you considered? Most people, 99% of the people, what do they say? That's the best you can do. It's a breath of fresh air when you say, have you considered? Just being polite, I've closed deals. Just being nice. because there was a lowball wholesaler in front of me that was aggressive, calling, not being patient, not being sensitive, and I just was, hey, would you consider? Now I would give him proof of substance or proof of justifying my thing. Hey, I'm a real estate investor. I've done a few transactions. I would love to help you with this transaction right here. With my experience buying properties in this condition, you should be taking notes. I'm telling you, those lines work. Those lines work. I lock them up. All right. Invisible factors. Has this been valuable so far?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. 1236. Anybody have any questions? Invisible factor.
Go through those lines again, like you said.
No. It's
It's on your
called
podcast, right?
podcast.
When you consider.
Oh, you want to see the line? It's have you considered. I'm actually writing a book on negotiating right now, and I'm going to have every single line I've ever done. It's going to be like 300 pages. Every line like those. This. If they say this, say this. If they say this, say that. Try this. Do this. Bend over. Do that. Boom, boom, boom. Because a lot of people just don't know, you know. But every Saturday and Sunday, I'm at the flea market. I'm practicing these. This one works. This one works. You know, your body language and the DISC are bar far. You know, you guys know this. Anybody do psychology? Your body language speaks more volume than your words or your tone of voice. You what? Are you serious? I say at the flea market, I practice this. I'm telling you, we should. Whoever wants to roll with me, I'll let you know. We'll go down there. I'll show you how to do it. I go down there. I go too high. I say it just like that. Whoa! Too high. The Hispanic folks, and then they go, okay. And then, okay. I'm sorry. Even, Plaza, whatever that place you hang out at, it works. Go to Tijuana. If you really want to negotiate, just go down there for a few days. You'll come back. You're a machine. Maybe. Or you may not come back.
You might not.
And I'll buy you cribs in the prison while you're over there. Man, we did the work. This is crazy because we're about to put this on the radio, but. As a side note, I had to tell you this because I'm so excited. Guess where we're minding deals right now? In the jail. Mm-hmm. I love you could text in the jail now. I don't know how, but we're texting people in the jail. We got our first deal in the jail.
How did you find?
We got somebody in the jail that went to jail. That said, hey, fill my commissary up. Can you put 20 in there? How about 50? We put 50 on this dude's thing, find somebody that has a house for sale. Bang, bang. It worked. Now it's hard to get the signature. The wife said yes, the other dude's in the prison. It works. Anyway, that's another podcast.
How did you find a house?
I'm telling you it works. How I find a house?
How did you find
The people
a house?
live in houses that have houses.
How
So you
did
find a person that's in the jail that has a house. You ask the person to sell the house because they can't live in the house because they live in a jail. So do they want to sell that crib since they're in the jail and the wife is divorced and she's angry?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It works. $50, my best deal. Thus far. It's crazy. It's awesome. I'm like, I'm going to have a whole jail class.
What I'm asking is,
It
how
works.
did you find a house?
I don't know. Somebody translate that to her. All right. Where we were?
Invisible factors.
Okay. Flea market.
Which flea market do you go
Am
to?
I on point? The Mary Swap Meet. 23rd and Midwest Boulevard. Anybody else been there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Right by the dump.
You want to get there at 8:00. You want to get there 8, 9 at the latest. I go to church at 8:30. I get off at 10. I come home. I change. I got to put my blue collar clothes on and my dirty shoes.
This is on Sunday.
And I'm riding over there. You come over to Apple Valley. You roll with me. I'm serious. I'm trying to. Let's just keep on. Invisible factors. This is something very powerful that I never really considered until I really started studying negotiating, and there's always an invisible factor on the other side of the table.
Something they're not telling you.
Exactly. There's always something that they're not telling you. Their husband's in jail. What is it? How do you engage people? Now, if you go back and study the personality profiling, right? If they're different personalities, you would try to engage them. You've got to find what the invisible factors are. I failed many times with this one thing, and this is how I'm from the old school, but I got cash, I can close quick, right? Everybody knows that technique? I don't use that technique no more, because I realized that not everybody wants to have cash, and not everybody wants to close quick. There's more invisible factors. So when next time you're negotiating, don't do the VanCauwenbergh, because I'm trying to think. I used to drum the hammer dropper. I don't want to be the hammer dropper no more. I want to be the what? Problem solver. And then I want to negotiate with them, and I always want them to win in the process. Meet me halfway is a great technique that Lyle uses. But what's so good about that technique, it's a win-win. Seems to be, right? Because they feel like they won. So you have to create that illusion. Any questions on invisible factors? Anybody have any invisible factors that they don't think about? Sister, brother, family, taxes, probate, divorce. What's an invisible factor?
I just want a mobile home. We've got land. I just want a mobile home. How much is that?
Yeah.
7,000 to 10,000. Okay, well, so down and then term it out.
Like I just locked up I just closed on property, and like, this is crazy. It's a long story. I should do a podcast on this, but it was a condo worth $35,000, $45,000. Called the sign, FISBO, hey. And I was already there buying some condos. And so I was like, hey, he's like, $25,000. I was like, okay, wow. It's worth $35,000. We're already in my zone. This is worth my time now. So I called the guy, had the guy come over. I had to call him back to make sure I did my due diligence, did my comps, make sure before I rolled over there, blah, blah, blah. I called the guy back. I woke him up. I was like, whoa, buddy, do you want to sell this property? He said yes. That's another line you should always say. Are you motivated to sell this? Or do you want to sell this property? When you say those words, are you motivated? Now, that's a little slappy in the face. But do you want to sell this property creates what? A yes. More yeses gets you yes on the contract. So before the dude drive over there, I was like, are you motivated to sell the property? He said yes. So he drove over there. I'm walking the property. And the number one question I always ask is, how'd you arrive to this price? Brian Nix's favorite line. How did you arrive to this number? You want 25? I want it for free. Now, I was already willing to buy the house. Now, when I was like, man, if I can get this for 17, if I can get this for 20, I'm already got my number in my mind. I'm excited. I walk up the property, walk up the steps, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. It's nice. I start adding up the cost. How much it's going to cost them? And I was like, I was just about to say 17. I was just about to say, I'm sorry, I had them right here. I was going to do the bow in. I got to do 17, and then I have my justification. The bathroom needs to be gutted out. To see the mold there, sir. It's about to do that line. Okay. I lean in, and I said, how'd you arrive at 25? Because when he says 25, he starts saying stuff, and then I start justifying what he's saying. So he said, well, that's what my realtor said. That's what my friend said. Why you want to use a realtor? And anyway, so they said this stuff. And so when he said, I was going to say 17, he pulled out a piece of paper, and he just handed it to me. I just need to pay for this. And it was $14,000. I said, and I had to pray right then. Because I was about to crush this dude. Because I was about to get it for that. Well, I gave him a little bit more because I didn't want to pay for any closing. And I never say I'll pay your closing. Okay? I always add a number for closing. Another little tip. I never say the word I'll pay your closing. Why is it?
invisible factors in title.
Well, and a lot of people don't know what closing costs are,
That too.
and they can ramp the F up real fast. Liens are considered closing to some people. So anyway, the invisible factor was this guy was 86 years old. He was making 2 payments. He was already moved out, and he was already moved into a retirement community, and he had a tenant in here 2.5 years ago that he evicted and never went back to it, and he's been paying that condo rent and he couldn't sustain. And I closed on the deal, rehabbed the deal, sold it for 37. Kept on rolling down. Well, I went back and called the guy and just visited with him and hear his side, his testimony. I saved his world. He was on a fixed income. He could not make his payment. He was so like, can we close by this date? I saved him. I didn't save him. He blessed me. That's what negotiating is. You feel me?
Now you have it in at the nursing home too.
Well, I went there and I was like, wow, I need to build these things. I'm like, homie, how much you pay for this? This little 1-room efficiency that's like built 1960 was $750 a month. I was like, whoa, we need to build more of those. All right, let's wind this down. Any questions? 1, be prepared. For real, be prepared. Do not try to negotiate with somebody without being prepared. Dumb. You got to be prepared. Straight up, do it. 2, timing is everything. In this case, I know as a wholesaler, the closing is like the biggest factor in your level of negotiating. Pretty up there? No? Yes?
Yeah.
Most people are motivated to sell if they're talking to a wholesaler. So that means they got to close. You got to leave your ego behind. In that case, if my ego, I know what I'm doing. I'm Steve VanCauwenbergh. This condo's worth 35. I'm gonna lock it up for 17. That's 50%. And look, I got it for 14.5. Actually, I gave the guy 15.5. You got to work on your listening skills multiplied. Like, it is hard for a high D to listen to people because I just want to get to the point. Come on, man. Just tell me what's your problem. If you don't ask, you don't get. Pretty simple. Anticipate compromise. I love negotiating with somebody that gets upset. It's just dumb. Like, you should always anticipate something's going to happen. They're going to want more. You can't be offended. That's the whole game of negotiating. And always be closing. Accept the commitment. Offer and expect a commitment. And like Lyle said earlier, lowball offer. If you offer them $150,000 or $100,000, be ready to say, okay, I'll have the contract ready, because you don't want them to think about it. Now, technique a lot of people teach. They go listen to them. Don't try to fix their problems or absorb them. Just find the solution, not the fix. Is that clear on what I'm saying there? They have a problem. Don't just go over there with a trailer and load their stuff. Maybe give them a $200 concession for a moving van. Is that clear? So they need to move. Don't volunteer to move their stuff. Say, hey, what if I covered the U-Haul cost? And most times, people's mind, they want to pocket the $100 U-Haul cost and get Timmy over there to help them move. But they just created in their mind another $100. I know I'm not really good at articulating that, but that's what I meant to say when I wrote that down there. I said, don't absorb their problems, find the solution for them and deflect it. Close confirmation, always have a contract. Here's some tips. Always let other people speak first. Is this worth $10?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, you can tip me on the way out. Stop talking and start listening. Information is power. We know this. Give and receive. It's also known as concessions. Know your numbers before you start. You gotta have a price in mind. If you don't have a price in mind, you gotta stick to that price. Create rapport. I always negotiate. I was reading another book. You're not supposed to negotiate at the inspections. I always negotiate at the inspections. If they come back flumpy dumpy, something's wrong, I negotiate then. course, you guys know if you don't ask, you don't get. Find the reasons. Be a detective. We talked about that. You know, real old school secret sauce, writing a letter. I try to communicate through pen and paper as often as I can. I'm competing against Lyle. He's got a big organization. He's got 10 acquisition managers, right? So I'm like, how am I going to crush Lyle? Real simple. I go make he'll probably win because most people think that a corporation's better, right? When they see the logo, he wins off the logo. Real quick, real fast. If you want to be real savvy, just get a t-shirt on there with your name on it. Because people are confused, right? They see these signs, they call Brian Nix, he shows up in some slick pants. They're confused. They call another number, Lyle shows up with professionalism. And the first thing you should always introduce yourself. Hi, I'm blank, and you hand him a card. Man, I can go off on this stuff. This is how I'm giving you all my deals. But Lyle makes an offer, $5,000 more than I do. I can make it. I write him a letter. It was a pleasure meeting you. And I go into stuff, and I do a tie down. Extras. You can negotiate on closing costs, fixtures, concessions, speed, and closing. Any questions?
Can you go back?
Yes, after we do the questions. Any questions?
I have a question real quick. All these things make sense, but if the market's hot and there's 5 or 10 other people trying to get that same deal, how can you make some of those apply, like the push-pull, while you're...
Like it's a multiple offer?
Sure.
Well, and a technique that I use on that is maybe when someone says $35,000, but if I say $35,685, it sounds more viable. So I close more, even with HUD homes, when I do foreclosures.
Mm.
So that's one competitive edge. Go ahead, Brian.
So he raises a good question. As competitive as it is, it comes down to you want to control the deal, right? And when there's 8 other guys in there, it's hard to control it. So the push-pull is not going to work. There's give and takes, with slow markets, hot markets. But one thing that I've found is if you get into a bidding war, I jokingly say the dumbest guy wins, right? And that's what happens. You lose control of the deal. Everybody else gets. I'll give you an example. I went out on one last week. I thought I had it, pretty close to locked down, and she said, "Okay, well, I got to get with my the other heirs, and there's like 5 of them, and we'll get with you in a week." And she also mentioned that they're talking to some other people, so I know what's going to happen, right? They're going to feel it's going to turn into an auction. And so my goal was, unsuccessfully, to draw the line in the sand and say, okay, without saying, I'm not going to let you shop my offer for a week. Say, okay, well, I just asked her, I said, well, is there a number that you guys have already discussed where if you hear that number, we're good to go? And she couldn't even say yes to that. So
that's another good technique.
No control. You just don't. So sometimes it's unavoidable in this market condition.
One technique that I used to do back in the day when the market was kind of crazy, write a check for the full amount. That's, if you want to get noticed, and like as Brian says, you always want to control the deal. So if it's a $55,000 house and it's going to be a bidding war, you write a check for what you think it's worth, and then you have a couple, if you have cash or you get your bank funding lined up, that speaks way more volumes. Or I usually do $5,000, $10,000 earnest. I outbid everybody because most dumb people put $500 down. Savvy investors put $1,000 down, but no one does $5,000 down. So if you put $5,000 earnest money down, you just hit 10 people off the list.
Yeah, one other tip is a lot of times I'll get calls from people, and maybe you guys have encountered this, where you ask them how much. I ask, what do you need for the property? I don't care what they want. I ask them, what do you need for it? And they'll oftentimes say, I don't know. Well, that's a lie. They know.
They want to go on vacation.
Because here's what I say back to them when they say that. I say, okay, well, if you truly don't know, then how are you going to know no matter what number I throw at you? Does that make sense? So if they, if I want it for 30 and I say 100, They don't know. How do they know? You know, it
This
just
is a
doesn't
100
make
deal.
sense. They know. So don't buy.
And that guy, he wanted 25,000. So just not even barely negotiating, I got it down to 15 because he just wanted out of the deal. He did not want to deal with the payments. So you just have to look at in this climate, it's unique, you know. And another problem that we're having right now, there's a lot of wholesalers that are overbidding for properties, which is diluting the whole game right now. So like, there's a culture that just keep bidding it up, and then those houses are not even closing because they're just too high because real estate investors can't even. This deal we just locked up last week, you know, 35,000. It was just like I know it's going to take $30,000 to repair this deal. It's impossible. Like, good luck if someone buys it for 35 because I'll come back and buy it for circle around in 3 years. Because he'll buy it for 35. Some other rookie investor put 5,000 in it, realize he's got 40, realize it's not going to work, realize he can't get it done. It's going to take 6 months. It's going to sit there. Then I'll go back and buy it for 20. So the cool thing about real estate is it's all about the numbers. Like, you could be the worst person in the entire world of negotiating, and it boils down to the numbers. Well, we let the guy sit. We had to do patience. We threw out 20,000. We did the push and pull method. Just waited, and then we followed up lightly, and then we followed up with justification. Push and pull. Justify. You know, these techniques are not all at once. You got to pepper these in. You got to slow roll them. Then we finally got him down. I mean, the guy that I was helping negotiate this deal, he was too nervous. I mean, I could have got it even harder because I know there's no one else is going to buy this property. Who has cash? Who's going to spend $30,000? Who? How many of them? With a 1% return, right? Not too many. So I already won. I knew he couldn't sell it. I know he can't sell it. He bought it wrong, or he's trying to make money on the deal. So those are situations that you just have to be patient on. And we got it for 22, and the guy was trying to negotiate on closing costs. No, 22. That's it, homie. Okay. Because obviously, and like if I really want to negotiate with somebody, I'll just hit them with this. Do you know what holding costs are? I wouldn't say like that because that's offensive, but I would just start adding holding costs. Do you have a loan on? Do you have a loan on the property? Because then if they did, yeah, I'll take over your loan. Oh no, I don't. Most people won't answer that question. So if I just ask those two questions, I put them in what category they're in. Are they a real baller, realtor? Investor, or are they just playing? Right? Because should you ever answer that question if you're a real estate investor?
What was the question again?
Yeah, what was the question again?
Loan on this property.
Do you have a loan on it? Now, most investors will lie and say yes, and it's this much. When in reality, it could be a loan on it, but it's this much. Okay? So if you just start, because those are sting questions, they're going to start punching them. And he's going to oh, yeah, right. I do have a loan on it. Yeah, I'm paying $300 a month on it. I was like, okay. Then I'm like, man, then I just said the word holding cost. Now, most rookie and real estate investors don't even calculate that in there. I always calculate holding costs, property management, maintenance, lawn care. I calculate all that in every deal, automatically, even if I own my own lawn care business or my own property management company, because I'm going to sell it to somebody one day with those numbers, right? So you might as well factor those numbers in now, and you'll be a really good investor later. If you factor those numbers in now, you'll be great later. So that person, I promise you, did not factor it in. That house would have not sat that long, for 2 years, vacant, no permits, no nothing. I knew he was and he had a FSBO sign on the yard, and it wasn't in the MLS, and he probably was too cheap to put it in the MLS, and he didn't have enough room because he probably bought it wrong. So 2 things are happening. He's going to bring money to closing, or we're going to take it down for what it is. So that's just a simple process. Now that's a different deal. But in this climate, to answer your question, anybody else can help him? Any other negotiating techniques in the hot climate?
I have a question about, what will you, I wonder if this will fall under invisible factor where you ask the person, what is your lowest number you're wanting to go to, and finding that out earlier? Or
I would never say that.
Okay.
It's offensive. I mean, this is in my world. Like their goal, though, you got to remember, Archie. What's their goal? What's everybody's goal?
Get the most they can.
They get the most they can. And what's your goal? Get the least as possible. So they're just always going to lie. So don't even go there. You got to give them the proof of the price. This is why I love real estate. It all boils down to it. He's like right now. There's investors that pay $5,000 and more than me all day. There's other investors that pay $10,000 more than me today because they're so desperate they want to get in real estate. They're willing to pay that. That's okay. But I know this game long enough for 20 years. So I just have to keep focused on what I'm doing. The numbers have to make sense because people, it's about to get wiped out pretty soon because interest rates, they're too high. They're going to get a bad tenant, and they're going to get buried. And guess who's going to be there? Me. And that's just the nature of the game. If you don't, and it all boils down to numbers. So this is the simplest game. You could be the most recluse. If the numbers jive, it just makes sense. This is why I love this game because it's not sexy. It's not. I got to paint. No. Well, you probably should paint it gray. That color's probably going to change. But the reality is just if the numbers don't work, they don't work. I'm sorry. I want you to be successful, and I want you to, hopefully you'll sell your home, and you'll find an investor or someone that is willing to take a loss, or they're trying to go the distance, like appreciation. That does not happen it does happen in Oklahoma, but it's extremely rare in extremely certain neighborhoods. So I don't even play that game. I'm not even in those neighborhoods. There's no reason to be in those neighborhoods because you can just get caught up. Everybody heard of the neighborhood called Lincoln Terrace?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Where's that market now? Where's Lincoln Terrace at? No. So people were taking a bath down there. They were praying for $150 a square foot. Dude, they're getting murdered. They're getting murdered down there. Because it's just the markets, the people down there wised up. Oh, I can spend $300,000 on this shack, or I can go over here in this area and somewhere else and get a different purchase, or I can go to Midtown, or for the same dollar. People are getting murdered down there. You don't want to be playing in that game, speculative game. You don't want to be, or appreciation game. You don't want to be playing in that game. All right, that's it.
Can I get one more in?
One, come on, man. Since you sit up front and you were on time.
We were talking about like always going back, and we had an example. We were talking. You wanted a house. 50 was your number. I'm started at 100. So whatever. You're like 45, and I get to 50, right?
No, are you the buyer or the seller?
I'm the seller, so you get to 50. I finally said 50, which is what you want.
What I want.
And you said, that's when the next step is keep going. Go a step further, and you started to say, then that bring in terms, time, etc. I didn't know if you had something more specific. It seemed like you were maybe going to touch on
like
that
maybe a lower earnest money. What else could I get? Could I get the refrigerator that's in there? Or maybe I can delay the closing. Maybe I have 3 or 4 houses in the pipeline, and I want to maybe someone just did this to me. They made an offer on a property, but they wanted to close in August. So I was like, that sounds great. I'll give you your August, but you're going to give me $2,000 non-refundable earnest money just in case you decide to change later, because I'm not going to tie up my crib while you trying to figure something out, or you trying to wholesale it on me. You can go wholesale it. I'm going to take the 2 G's. Go wholesale it. So that's what I'm saying. You're getting something else. If they feel they're hard on there, ask for something else. And tone it down a little bit. Don't go 50 and that's your number and you're like 49, then it's offensive. But you can say, well, and sometimes it doesn't work all the time. Just always be thinking that. And in that case, it's a timetable. That case, it could be the refrigerator. That time it could be, I don't know. What other terms, Brian? If they're
material.
Yeah, bought a house. This dude, yeah, he did me wrong. Hold on, how'd you do that? What was you buying from me?
Yeah.
Even worse, he got me. So we're negotiating. You never want to negotiate with an investor. That's usually not the best person to go to. But we're negotiating back and forth. I'm trying to sell this house. It was a house I was done with. This is a house that he was in his wheelhouse. I've exhausted this property to the extent where I don't want to deal with this people anymore. This situation. This is his bread and butter. I don't remember. We're close to my number. I wasn't going to really, 22,000, 20,000. And then I was content. I said yes. And then somehow he said, and all your material, all your books and CDs. That's happened to me actually twice. Another person I try to borrow money from somebody, yeah, we'll give you the 7% interest and your books and CDs. Because you ask for more.
Yeah.
No, don't try that again with me. It's not going to work out. Yeah, he did. He got me. And it reminded me, I didn't give it to him. Of course I said yes. And then it's like, he's never going to, because most people never read. And most people never follow through. Most people never follow through. He fell through. That's why he's a great investor. How many deals have you locked up since you call back and follow up? Like a percentage-wise.
I mean,
If you in this climate, what's your name? Sunglasses? Eric. To be competitive in here, just follow up. Most people are just hit lowballing people and just running down the road, lowballing people. No one's going back and minding those, going back to mind those deals. Those people have been beat up and abused. It's the perfect time to come show up with flowers. You know, that's what I would do. What everyone's going this way, I go this way. Right now, am I buying houses in Oklahoma City? No. Only time I'm buying something is someone throws it on my table. That's the only time I'm not even, someone tells me a deal, okay, good. You know, how much is it? 35, 45. When he got over 50, I was like, all right. It's just not my time. So my energies are focused on other things that generate other types of income. So where everybody's going this way, I'm over here. Everybody was buying on the northwest side 10 years ago. Nobody wanted to buy the northwest side. Guess who's buying on the northeast side? The northeast side. I was. Now everybody's buying on the northeast side. Guess who's selling them all the northeast side stuff? I am. So where everybody's at, I'm out. I'll even drive. Brian does the same thing. When I drive up on a property, if I see several people on there, 4 more people, I just keep on rolling. And then when I see a bunch of people bidding on stuff, I'll say, hey, if it don't fall through, call me. Let me be your last call. Because I can get it done. I can close. This is what I do. But, hey, my goal for you is that, you know, I know you want to get the highest and best, and I agree with you. You should. Go do it. If Brian Nix can't close, I'll close. And that's it. And sure enough, I'll get a call. Hey, I met you 6 years ago at this deal. You still buy houses? Absolutely. Right? I don't have no money in my bank, and what do? What number one thing that Brian said today that you should just burn in your head? What is the number one thing that Brian said today? Anybody can think about it? Yes. I'll give you a free item. A CD and a knife.
So what do you need?
What you need is a good one. You get a knife. That's not the big kahuna. What's the purpose? What are we trying to do? Solve problems. Control the deal. You want to control the deal. That's what you want to do. And how do you control the deal? Get it under contract. You got to get it under contract. You got to always get it under contract. Always control the deal. This game is not ran by borrowing money. This game's not ran by owning property. It's for owning contracts. Because most successful investors, they buy a house, and what they do, they sell the contract on terms. And they get the arbitrage. All right. Peace out.
Thanks for
coming.
listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.